Hello, beautiful human, and welcome to the grace and the potential and the power of now. Take a nice deep breath. And then another one to drop you into the moment, to relax your body, and to bring you to a higher level of peace. So in this moment, we're going to be talking about ways to reduce stress, to have more joy, and as a result, to have greater health, mental health and physical health. So when you think about where most of our problems reside, where most of the stress comes from in our lives, it's from our thinking. So if we go with the statistic, that's a general statistic, that we have about 60 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and that 90 to 95% of these thoughts are some variation of a thought we had yesterday or the day before or the day before. So we're in thought patterns, thought loops. And if we also understand that 90% of our thoughts are subconscious, which means under the surface of awareness, kind of like an iceberg, you'll see the top of the iceberg, but the majority of the iceberg is submerged. That's the nature of the mind. So we're dealing with a force to be reckoned with. So it's important that we use all the skill sets we have at our disposal to quiet the mind and to enter the soul. Because the soul doesn't have a lot to say. The soul is pure love. The soul is joyful. But in order to connect with the soul, we have to leave our mind. We have to leave the part of our mind that is a saboteur, the negative mind. And how do you do that? Well, if you stop for a second and you feel where thoughts accumulate, where thoughts take place, if you really tune into it, you can feel it happening in your head. Right? There's just a subtle little dance happening up there if you're very quiet. So if you take a minute to think, you can see it transpires high in your body. Now, one of the keys to transcending the negative thoughts, the worried thoughts about the future and the regretful thoughts about the past and judgmental thoughts, it's to bring the energy down to your heart. So I want you to imagine right now that there's a series of activities happening in your brain, synapses firing, a whole dance happening up there, an electrical dance. And I want you to imagine bringing that energy down to your heart. So instead of being in your head, you are now in your heart. And the heart has a wisdom all its own. There are studies that show that there's a wisdom in the heart that absolutely transcends any intelligence you can have in your head. So practice that for 1 minute. Bring the energy in the head down to the heart and breathe. Imagine a big golden ball of light in your heart. And see if you don't feel a little bit better than you did a minute before. See if you don't feel a little bit more relaxed. Now this is just a tiny little step. But think about a yawn. After you feel a yawn, there's a sense of release. You want to have that same feeling of bringing the energy from your head to your heart as many times a day as possible to bring you to the moment, to give you access to your greater intelligence, to allow you to be present to the perfection of the moment, and the doors that are open in this moment. Now, in terms of perfection, that doesn't mean you're going to like what's happening. It's not always pleasant. In fact, many times it's the opposite of that. But there's opportunities that lie in the challenging time. They force you to go deeper within yourself. They force you to look for answers and tools to transcend the mind so you can have the joy in your life that is your birthright. So practice that tool today and every day. Energy from head to the heart, and imagining a big golden ball of light, and breathing deeply and deliciously. And see if that doesn't start transforming your life right away for the better. Love and light to you. Remember that you are loved not for what you're doing, but for who you are. Free of the ego, free of the worry, free of the self-doubt,